The Sigma Nu chapter at Old Dominion University in Virginia is now facing suspension because they posted some banners that offended many, many people. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the banners and what they said. Apparently, some of them said, freshman daughter drop off, hope your baby girl is ready for a good time. What else? One of them says, go ahead and drop mom off too. So people saw that, and of course, there are lots of different perceptions, lots of different interpretations of what it means, and many people felt that this was another example of rape culture on college campuses. Now, before we share our commentary, let me just say that there is a huge problem with rapes happening on college campuses, administrators brushing it under the rug because they're worried about their reputations. And so that should absolutely be addressed. However, is this an example of that culture? Go.
I think definitively no. Okay, so if that's a different problem at Old Dominion, then you should 100% address that. But these are kids. Remember, they're young kids, 18, 19, 20 years old, right? And they think things are funny and we were all kids, weren't we kids? Like they didn't write that like drop your daughter off so I can rape her, right? That's not what the sign says. Mm-hmm. They're having fun. Drop mom off too, so not so I can sexually assault her. They're saying that because they think it's funny. Yeah. Now, does it in any way imply sexual assault? No, it doesn't. The plain reading of it does not imply sexual assault. Now, that doesn't mean that people should not be concerned about it, mm-hmm. right? And I get why people get angry about it and why they're offended by it, et cetera, because we don't all have the same perspective. I've never been in a situation where I was sexually assaulted, where I had that threat, where I lived in a culture or et cetera, where I was under threat, right? Uh-huh. So easy for me to look at that and dismiss that sign, right? So I want everybody to open up their eyes a little bit and think about it from other people's perspective. So as much as I don't see it at all, I want to hear out people who do see it.
I agree with you. I do want to hear out people who do see it. And my initial reading and my current reading of it is that this is not something worth being as outraged about as other cases. Because when there are situations where someone is saying that she or he has been raped and administrators ignore it and they brush it under the rug, those are issues that should be noted. Those are issues that should be controversial. People should talk about them and they should be outraged about it. I feel like stories like this actually take attention away from real cases of rape and sexual assault on college campuses. Because if you start getting people's attention by talking about banners like this, then they're going to be turned off by all accusations regarding, rape culture on college campuses. I got to be honest. I mean, part of the reason why I didn't want to do the story is because I know my opinion on this is controversial. I know people are going to be upset at me, but I didn't see this as a big deal.
Yeah, and look, I'm now a dad. I got a daughter. So when they're like, oh, drop your daughter off here. Yeah, if I was on campus, I wouldn't like that, right? But that doesn't mean we're going to sexually assault her. That means they're horny 19-year-old boys at a frat house. Now, sometimes that can lead to trouble. You want to be cautious about that. I hear you. Mm-hmm. But in this case, that's not what the sign said, right? And so do those frat boys want to have sex with the women who come to campus? Of course they do. And will that happen? Yes, that'll happen, right? Mm-hmm. We just want it to be consensual. So now why the different perspectives? So this is very interesting. 1 in 5 women report being sexually assaulted, right? On college campuses. Now that's huge. That's 20%. Now, but only let me put it this way. Only 6% of males commit sexual assault on college campuses. So that's a big disparity. Mm-hmm. So 20% of women, which is a high number, right? And only 6% of guys, it's a fairly low number, obviously triple the number, right? Mm-hmm. More than triple. And so why is that? Because the average male who commits a sexual assault commits on average 6 sexual assaults.
Jeez.
Okay? So it's some small percentage of guys that keep doing it over and over again. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of women feel the repercussions of that. And so to them, they're like, what do you mean sexual assault's everywhere? And for guys, 94% of them aren't doing it. So they're like, what are you talking about? No, we're just trying to get laid. Nobody's doing anything non-consensual. Mm-hmm. I don't know anybody who's doing anything non-consensual. That's probably true because 94% of them aren't doing anything wrong.
Right.
But you got to actually talk to each other so you can understand why
why people have the perceptions that they do. And you got to be open to other people's perceptions, because if you keep yourself in a bubble and you refuse to understand what other people have gone through, well, then you're shutting yourself out to what the reality is. Okay? And so, look, this particular story with these banners doesn't mean that we deny what's happening on college campuses today. Rape is a very serious issue that should absolutely be addressed. What I'm trying to say is you can't take situations like this and kind of put words in someone else's mouth and say, oh, they're implying rape and sexual assault. That might not be what they're implying at all. And I think it's really interesting that the university, or I should say the organization that is under this fraternity umbrella, took immediate action when it came to this. But when it comes to cases of rape and sexual assault, you hear people brushing it under the rug all the time. So it's interesting that a banner is enough to offend people and lead to action, but someone saying, hey, this happened to me and I need help, is treated in a completely different way.